What's up, guys? This is a Crippler, Chris Lieben, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Will, how's it going, man?
It's going.
Good.
It's going. I'm excited.
Dude, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like finally time.
McGregor
You know what I mean?
versus Poirier. I'm super pumped. Before we get going into that, I did want to let everybody know that we're available in different media outlets, podcast outlets, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts. If you could do us a favor, subscribe, whether it's to us here on the YouTubes or any one of those channels, goes a long way. We'd greatly appreciate it. But now we can get into the fights, Will.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
And I've always been a huge McGregor fan. I've said it plenty of times on the podcast. So for me, a McGregor fight week just hits different, man.
Yeah, it's just different, man. I mean, it really is. Like him or hate him. Yeah, it just creates an energy around the whole thing that
Buzz,
you
energy,
just have to watch.
the press conferences.
Did you watch the one this morning?
Yes.
Or this comes out Friday, so yesterday morning.
Yep.
A new McGregor, a respectful McGregor,
and I love
one.
that too. I love that too because he still has that energy and peppiness to him. But then, like when he was giving Poirier a lot of respect and admiration for everything that he's done since his loss and being able to, move his way back up to a title fight. He got the title, and now a fight against him, and then talking about his sauce. There's just
the hot sauce. I know.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff
cool
going back and forth.
I saw people kind of talking shit about the press conference because there wasn't as much like shit talking as is like a normal Conor press conference. But dude, these fucking casuals, bro. No disrespect to Rich, you're different. But all these people who are like, like Conor's like they quote him all the time, and it's like, dude, it got to the point where, because I was a huge Conor fan when he first came in and made his debut. Instantly huge fan when he fought Marcus Brimage, right? Instantly huge fan because they were talking about like the watch, whatever, all the Conor stuff he used to say. But it got to the point when he got super famous where you could tell he's just doing like way too much cocaine. And his press conferences, his like last 3 fights, his press conferences have been so like cringy and hard to watch for me because you could tell he's just like blitzed out of his mind. And he's not saying anything clever anymore. He's just like being loud and obnoxious and like, it was just super like annoying for me to watch. And then this time it's like, this is the Conor that I want at this point where he's achieved all these things and he can recognize real stuff. Like, stop trying to
real recognizes real, man.
Yeah. And for Dustin, man, Dustin almost like demands that level of respect at this point in his career. Like if you come out and trash talk Dustin Poirier now, everybody just thinks you're an asshole. Like, he's such a good guy outside of the cage, and he's earned everybody's respect inside the cage, that if you talk shit, you're just a dick.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Everything he does with the Good Fight Foundation.
Yeah, so much stuff. I mean, dude, everything.
It's just... We'll talk about this fight a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think we should start off with Amanda Ribas and Marina Rodriguez. Not Rodriguez. Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll let you say that because you rolled that second R. That first R is silent, but that second one's rolled.
Man, I practiced.
And a good segue into how this fight's gonna go. I think Ribas is gonna roll her around.
I see what you did there.
Marina, her striking's way better, like leagues higher, but I think her biggest weakness is Ribas' strength. And eventually they'll get close to each other, and I think Ribas will be able to get like a trip or something, and kind of school her on the ground.
So just so you know right now, when we take a look at odds, the best odds we could find for Amanda Ribas, minus 300. Best odds for Marina Rodriguez, plus 263. So it seems like Vegas is siding with you, Will. As am I. Same thing. I think Amanda Ribas Jiu-Jitsu is going to be a little too much here for Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, there's most of the times the grappler is going to beat the striker. the exceptions are when someone has like exceptional footwork and like cage work and like distance management and things like that, or like actual tools that keep people away.
Haven't seen
And I
too
just
much of
don't
that from Rodriguez.
exactly. I mean, you see, yeah, we just haven't. So I mean, if she has those tools, similar to style wise, right? Like when Holly Holm fought Rousey, where Rousey just could not get her down, and she just kept picking her apart until she got the KO. Right? That could happen. I just haven't seen those tools yet from her. So from what we've seen so far, I think Ribas probably submits her in the first or second round. Would be my guess.
And Ribas, the interviews that she's been doing this week, hilarious.
Yeah,
Seems like
she's
this
got
girl has a
character.
fantastic personality with her, man. Somebody that can go.
Yeah,
pretty
she's
far
goofy,
here.
man.
Yeah, I love it. Dude, I love seeing that type of stuff. Like we just talked about seeing Conor McGregor and not having all his crazy antics so far. I love seeing fighters show their personality even on fight week. You know, we continue hearing fighters say that this is like a high pressure moment when you're about to go to war with somebody locked in a cage. But for her to still show that personality, I love that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, same. Yeah, she's becoming a fan favorite. She really is.
The other one after that, Ottman, how do you pronounce his last name? Azaitar? Azaitar. Versus Matt Frevola. So if I remember correctly, Azaitar has some power on him.
Yeah, I think he's going into this. I think he has the 5 finishes in a row with his hands.
Your boy's got some power. Now, taking a look at odds here, Sportsbet has the best odds for both of them. Azaitar minus 152, Frevola 138, plus 138.
I'm surprised it's that close, honestly. I mean, anything could happen, obviously, but I would think that Azaitar, coming off that KO of Worthy, I would imagine that he was going to be a pretty solid pick for this fight. I thought it would be with what was Ribas minus 300.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere around there, to be honest.
I mean, we're
I think
taking a look
Azaitar
at
wins this.
Win by punches, overhand right punches. This guy, he's finishing.
He puts
fights.
people out.
He's finishing fights, and like I said, the thing that stands out to me the most I remember from him is just those heavy shots that he continued landing. Now, Frevola coming in 8-1-1, right? So I wouldn't say your boy's a slouch there. Last win against Luis Pena.
Violent Bob Ross, yeah.
I mean, not a world beater, but
yeah, fought Lando Venata to a draw. The interesting thing is going to be the grappling, I think, because I think Azaitar is kind of a smaller lightweight. So, man, if Frevola can come in and impose like a grappling type of fight, I think he could have some success there. I picture another Azaitar knockout, honestly.
that's the exact same thing I've been picturing too. But like you said, even if Frivola's not coming through with the takedowns, but if you could just make it really dirty, pressure up against the cage, getting that right head style position, right, where he's got his forehead right on his chin, and see if he can wear him out like that.
Just
then
go out there with Team Quest style.
Team Quest style, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, ready to move on to the next one?
Got it. Yeah.
All right, so we got Jessica I versus Joanne Calderwood.
JoJo.
I love JoJo.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear her speak in the soft little voice, and she's just an absolute killer. Awesome.
It's weird, yeah. It's like a weird contrast.
Yeah,
I remember when she was on Ultimate Fighter, the first time she talked, I was like, what? Like, how is this real? It just took me by surprise.
Sweetest little voice. Now, who do you have in this fight?
Honestly, I haven't looked at the odds on this one. I expect them to be pretty damn close.
Well, I just so happen to have the odds here, Will.
I figured you were going to, yeah.
So we have the way I look at this is pretty much even. You have Joanne Calderwood minus 110, Jessica I plus 103.
Okay, 103. That's such a weird number.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes sense. And I would lean towards JoJo on this one too. Jessica I don't know. I try to be respectful, you know what I mean? JoJo is above rudimentary in everything, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think she gets this done. My guess is JoJo by unanimous decision. Would be my guess on this one.
Okay. honestly, I'm not super impressed with either of these fighters. And we're talking about a division that's not super deep, right? So
Yeah.
I've like when you had JoJo going up against Caitlin
Chikagian.
her, and then you had
Shevchenko, Chiche.
and then Jennifer Maya. I just thought, okay, JoJo's in a little bit over her head right now, going up
Yeah.
against these fighters. I'm actually picking I on this one.
Oh.
She's got 2 losses in a row, and I'm expecting I to come in desperate, in desperation mode. Now, will the UFC release her if she ends up losing this one? I don't know. What other options do they have in this division?
I know. Yeah.
So they might continue just trying to ride out whoever they have in this division as long as possible. But I feel like these fighters are a lot more evenly matched than we think.
They're very even. Yeah. They're
so
very even.
I'm giving the edge to Jessica on this one, just expecting her to come in a little bit hungrier than JoJo. And like I said in the last few fights, I continue feeling like JoJo is ranked a little bit higher than she should be.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
All right.
Yeah. This is our first disagreement, though, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Dude, we should start, wagering. Can you grow a mustache, Will?
Fuck no, dude. Come on. Look at me. I can't believe you
All
even
right.
asked me that.
We'll figure something else out to wager later on down the road.
Yeah.
Dude, by the way,
I would have one right now if I could.
Would you?
Oh, dude. Wouldn't even think twice.
A Stipe Miocic, fireman mustache, or
Don Fry.
full? Oh, I like that. Don Fry.
I could.
Taking it old school.
I could.
Dude, this next one, oh, man.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker, all right, versus Michael Chandler.
Hold it. We have a special intermission here.
Rich the Casual, all right,
Yeah,
what are we coming through with?
We got a broadcast. Beam it in from the sky. Here it is.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom. Your boy is back. In Metal, the creme de la creme, ready to spit some knowledge to you once again. Alright? So either y'all just don't know, or y'all must have forgot. But these odds makers, man, they got your boy Michael Chandler fucked up. How? Glad you asked. They have Michael Chandler as the underdog, man. The underdog against Dan Hooker. Man, the audacity. The audacity. The same Michael Chandler who, yes, he hasn't had his first UFC fight, his first official UFC fight, but this is still the same Michael Chandler who was the alternate for the Khabib Gaethje fight. Meaning, for those who don't know, if either Khabib or Gaethje had to pull out, last minute or whatever, they weren't going to find some random person who can make weight or whatever. They weren't going to pull someone from the undercard to move up in the main event. No, they were still going to have a title fight, and Michael Chandler was going to step in. They had Michael Chandler ready. Michael Chandler didn't share that alternate spot with Dan Hooker. All right, he didn't share that alternate spot with anybody else. It was him and him alone. That speaks volumes to the amount of respect the UFC organization has for Michael Chandler as a person, for his skills, and for his accomplishments, outside of the UFC, without having fought in the UFC yet. All right? So, shit, that alone, the fact that, they're underrating him, knowing that, so it's sounding like y'all must not know. Because your boy Michael Chandler, man, he's got a deep resume, man, deep resume of accomplishments, all right? He was basically the face of Bellator, all right? Been at the top of the lightweight game since 2011. Now think how many guys have been at the top of a division in any organization for that long. Very few guys come to mind for that long, and he's still at the top. He left at the top of his game, all right? But yet they're underrating him. Man, the audacity, the disrespect. I feel hurt. Michael Chandler, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for these. I apologize for these people. All right? Now, I get it. Dan Hooker, he's a good fighter. He's an entertaining fighter. But, if you pick at his, top 3 best wins, like what? I may be using recency bias here, but, okay. Lost against Poirier. He beat Felder. Arguably beat Felder. He beat Iaquinta and James Vick. All right, so let's eliminate the Poirier fight. So those three were probably his best wins. Those are the wins when he was on the rise to the position he is now. All right, I get it, but those guys aren't Michael Chandler. All right, Iaquinta doesn't have the grappling pedigree that Michael Chandler has. All right, neither does Felder, neither does James Vick. Okay, Michael Chandler, yeah, he'll be in your face and he'll fight you. But at the same time, man, you're gonna be ready for that level change. You got to be ready for that. That's something that Dan Hooker has to be ready for. All right. Now, with that said, maybe thinking, you know what? Fuck what I'm saying. All right. Fuck what I'm saying. Go ahead. Vote for Dan Hooker. Put your money on Dan Hooker. Let it be that. Because now that I'm thinking about it, at the end of this fight, Dan Hooker will have his hand raised. Yeah, he'll have his hand raised, once again, putting on another great performance because it's going to be a good fight. He'll have his hand raised for putting on a good performance. But you know what? At the same time, Michael Chandler will have his hand up for winning the fight. All right? That's all I'm going to say, okay? That's all I'm going to say. We'll let it be. We'll leave it at that. You do what you will with that information, okay? You do what you will. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to the BBY Lounge. Boys?
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Wow.
Lord. All right. The BBY Lounge. So last
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Who's
think
Tom?
he meant. What was that?
Who's Tom? When he says, thanks, Tom.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Yeah. Maybe he forgot Rich's name.
All right.
But not sure what the BBY Lounge is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he meant BBW Lounge and messed up. That's my guess, but I'm not really sure.
Well, George, the creme de la creme, coming through his underdog pick being Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think, Will?
Well, I remember when Michael Chandler first signed, I forgot what episode it was, we were talking about the lightweight division, and I think he put in the comments, Michael Chandler's the dark horse for the lightweight division.
I do remember
Like, people
that.
aren't ready for him to come over. I think this is an interesting matchup for his first fight. What do you think?
This is going to be a very telling matchup. No disrespect to the folks in Bellator, but man, we've seen it in fights, even in the UFC. There's levels. There's levels to this. Dan Hooker's no slouch. When we see what he put Poirier up against, he pushed him to the brink.
Mm-hmm.
And George pointed out the fact that he beat up on Michael Vick. Pretty much everybody that fought Michael Vick around those last
James
Vick. Sorry, James Vick. He probably would have beat up Michael Vick too, though. But James Vick, almost everybody that faced James Vick in his last 3-4 fights beat up on James Vick.
Yeah.
Right. Paul Felder. I maybe it's just me. I think extremely high of Paul Felder as well. He's an absolute dog in there. So
Yeah.
I don't.
And it was
I don't
a very
take
close
that.
fight.
I don't take that win lightly. I don't take the loss lightly. So I personally have Dan Hooker in this as somebody that's really going to welcome Chandler to the UFC, show him that there's levels to this. And I'm not saying that Chandler is not good, but I think Dan Hooker is going to come in ready to show him what's up.
Well, I think you think back to when Eddie Alvarez made his debut against Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of made it seem like maybe Eddie Alvarez isn't all he's cracked up to be, right? Then later on, Eddie Alvarez becomes the champ.
Mm-hmm.
So I think even if Chandler does lose this fight, it's not like, look, he wasn't ready for the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he might lose this fight, and it could be for a number of reasons. And
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean he's not good.
Yeah. And he might come back through an alternate path and end up at the top. I have Dan Hooker also.
So
it's
we're both
be
going up
interesting.
against the creme de la creme.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see game plans going into this. You got to think that Chandler has to get Hooker down.
He has to.
Yeah, I think this really favors Hooker, the fact that it's a co-main spot and it's a 3-round fight rather than a 5-round fight, because we've seen in his fights that go 5 rounds, those last couple rounds, he starts really shooting for some takedowns, and his cardio is not quite there because he's in wars all the time, right? So it's hard to maintain that, and you see him shoot for some takedowns that aren't the best set up and all these things. But 3 rounds, he can be firing on all cylinders for all 3 rounds. One of the things that he demonstrated in the Dustin Poirier fight, which was super high level, man, and it took Dustin a full round to make the adjustment. He made the adjustment kind of right at the end of the 5th, and you could see that he was cognizant of it, because once he started the 2nd, he really started going back to that well, and Hooker does a great job of just constantly kicking while he's at range, and then anytime you get in, he throws that knee, that standing knee. He'll hit you in the chest with it, or he'll hit you right in the chin with it. Chandler's a little bit of a shorter lightweight, so that knee is going to be right there. Hooker does this thing where he throws feint low kicks, feint body kicks, like front kicks to the body, all these feinting kicks. And the front kick to the body, you don't know when he feints that could be a knee or it could be that front kick. They look the same, right? And what he does is he'll feint and then gauge your reaction. And if you break on it, he won't throw it. But if you don't even react to it, he'll feint and then throw it for real. And it's so quick. So it's like, man, it's going to be a first round for Michael Chandler where he really has to start gauging how am I going to close this gap on Hooker, because you're dealing with these feints at kicking range, and then as soon as you step into range to maybe shoot or just land your punches, that knee's coming right up the middle. I think 3 rounds is, if this were a 5-round fight, I'd probably pick Chandler, but because it's 3 rounds, I don't know if Chandler's going to make the adjustments that he's going to need to do or make to get close to Hooker. I think Hooker is going to really demonstrate his distance management in this fight and keep him away and really land some heavy shots.
The other thing you might want to think about is the fact that Chandler's probably going to want to make a statement or try to make a statement.
He's not going to wrestle fuck to his his debut, you know?
Yeah, unless he really wants to play it safe. But I think he's going to want to come in here and make a statement saying, I belong here. I should have been here a long time ago. Bellator, you should have never let me go. So he's going to want to make a statement. I think it's going to leave him open more than he usually is. Now, let's take Chandler's last few fights into consideration. We have he beat Benson Henderson. Sydney Outlaw.
Yep.
He lost to Patricio Pitbull.
No slouch.
No slouch. He beat Brent Primus. Brandon Gertz.
True, but I mean, you can only fight the level that you're offered, right?
No, absolutely. That's not on him.
You know,
that's not on Chandler. But when I think about how much have we seen Chandler get tested with somebody the level of a Dan Hooker or even a Paul Felder or a Dustin Poirier, like the folks that we've had Hooker go up against already. So that's why I'm saying that I don't feel like they've been facing the same type of competition. Not Chandler's fault. That just happens to be the competition that was presented to him in the organization he was in. So I'm still going Dan Hooker.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this fight though. It's one of those classic. Yeah, it's a classic matchup. It really is. I'm really excited for it.
So am I. You know which one I'm really excited for?
Brad Tavares versus Shoeface.
Dude, Dustin Poirier versus Connor McGregor. We talked about it a little bit. We already alluded to it a little bit in the beginning, but I'm so excited for this fight. So excited. Yeah. Now, a few podcasts ago, I was going through and saying, hey, Dustin's evolved as a fighter, totally different fighter than who McGregor faced when they were both in the featherweight division.
Yeah, might as well be a different person.
But seeing Conor in these press conferences makes me feel like
the body language means he's a better fighter.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
I feel like the focus.
Yeah,
I feel like the focus is there with Conor McGregor right now. And I know Dana White was saying that before, but I take what Dana White says lightly. You know, he's a promoter.
You almost have to look at what Dana says and assume the opposite is true.
He's a promoter, man. He's gonna try to sell the fight.
Yeah.
But seeing this Conor without the crazy antics, talking about why it is that he wants to be here, he wants to leave a legacy, he wants to have a highlight reel so that him and his son can sit down and watch his highlight reels later on down the road. Dude, look, Goosies. Again, Goosies.
Yeah.
Man, this guy,
I know, that hyped me up.
I'm going McGregor. I'm switching it up. I'm going McGregor.
Okay. Switching it up? What do you mean?
Because a few podcasts ago, I said Dustin was going to win. Yeah. But after seeing Conor McGregor and his approach, I'm going Conor, man.
Yeah. I'm going Dustin. He's my boy. Ride or die Dustin. I think Conor... Did you check out Dan Hardy's YouTube channel after we talked about it?
Not yet.
Dude, really got to go down that rabbit
I've had
hole.
as much urgency watching that as Rich has had watching Rich the Casual, watching any of the fights we've listed. Rich the Casual, have you caught any of those fights yet?
I watched a video clip of Holloway dodging some punches and punching a guy in the face while yelling he's the best.
Pretty dope. Did it light a fire in you?
Well, yeah, I put on the whole fight after that. It was like 2 a.m, and I was in bed, and I fell right to sleep. But I put the whole fight on.
Hey, what'd you put it on?
Baby steps.
Oh,
I like it.
Yeah,
Rich
put
the
it
Casual.
on. Put it on.
On his way to becoming Rich the Pro.
Yeah. So Dan Hardy talks about what Conor does and the tools he uses and the traps that he sets in order to line you up with the left hand. Right? He throws all these kicks. The crazy wheel kicks, the turning side kicks, the low kicks, the body kicks, all this stuff to get you so that you can be almost in one of the corners of the octagon. And then now he can face you and have both of you just be along the fence, right? So if this is the fence, Conor's here, Dustin's here, right? They're facing each other along the side of the fence. Dustin can only move this way, right? Now Conor can follow and land that left hand because Dustin can't move into the fence. He's right there. So he has to circle away from the fence. And then Conor can land that left hand. He does another thing where he's southpaw, right? So he'll grab your lead hand so you can't jab. And as soon as you throw your rear hand, he slips and comes over the top with his left and knocks you out. It's a little different, right? Because Dustin's also a southpaw, so that's not really going to be an issue as much. But I don't know. I think Dustin has seen these things, and I think, like you said, he's just evolved his game so much. The only thing I'm a little worried about is Dustin likes to, the way he closes distances is with like a shuffle foot combo, right? Where he'll switch stances mid combo, where he'll feint and then switch stances and exit on the other side. That seems like a recipe for disaster against someone like Conor, because in that shuffle step, if you get hit, I mean, you're very exposed. So it'll be interesting to see what he uses to close that gap. And I'm not going to equate Conor McGregor's distance management with Dan Hooker's, but seeing the adjustments that Dustin could make on the fly to make to close that gap against someone like Dan Hooker, it shows me that Dustin is capable of making adjustments mid-fight. And he's got 5 rounds to make adjustments and get ready for what Conor's doing and make reads. As long as he can get out of that first round and a half, every round this fight goes, the odds should start slanting towards Dustin, in my opinion. Because Conor, it's going to be interesting because Conor's saying he's going to get a knockout right in 60 seconds. Well, whatever. He might.
Mystic Mac.
He might. But he's also saying that his cardio has never been an issue and that he's going to prove that, right? So it's either, are you going for a knockout in 60 seconds or are you going to show that your cardio can last 5 rounds? Because if he's trying to go 5 rounds, I don't think he's going to knock Dustin out early, because when he does go for those early knockouts, like he did against Nate,
gets gassed.
He punches himself out, throwing all that power. So if he's going for power and Dustin survives that first couple rounds, maybe maybe even just the first round. If Conor looks like he's headhunting for power and Dustin survives, I got Dustin all the way. On the flip side, if Conor's not looking for power, I think Dustin turns this into a dirty, grueling fight for 5 rounds, and I see Dustin getting it done, you know?
Okay.
I love this fight, though, man. It's so good.
When we just take a look at their level of activity, too, you know, like we
Yeah.
had that fight with Cerrone, who another 1-round fight,
Which
broke his nose
did
for
we even
shoulder
count it?
strikes.
I don't even know if we count that fight, to be honest.
He was in there, right?
He was in there, yeah, 100%.
Habib, we saw what happened there. But
Same thing that
before
happens to everybody, though, so nothing, you know, you can't really knock it against him.
I mean, his fight against Habib was 2018. His next fight was 2020. His next fight, another year from now, right?
Yeah.
So, not the most active fighter out there. Now let's take a look at Dustin.
Yeah.
And again, the level of competition which he's been facing.
Dude,
Dan
man,
Hooker,
murderous row.
Habib Nurmagomedov, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, Anthony Pettis, Jim Miller. Dude, it's just
murderous row, man. Bobby Green.
monster after monster after monster. And you see how it is at the evolution of Justin since his last loss against McGregor back in 2014.
In a different weight class.
In a different weight class, yeah. I mean, he really is a perfect example of somebody that's just hit stride as soon as they stopped with that crazy weight cut, right?
Yeah. And he talks about the mental switch he made, man. And that's dude. That's a big deal, man. The mentality, like Chael was very open about it. Chael talks about seeing a sports psychologist, all that stuff, right? And man, he's like, all these fighters neglect the mind. They don't train the mind, and it's a huge issue for a lot of people. And man, Dustin made a huge, words of wisdom from Uncle Chael.
Chael P. Sonny.
The gangster West Lynn. And I just see this man as fighting, not all the times, but a lot of the times, it's so like pure, you know, as far as you can't even like really explain it or like quantify it, but just there's so many stories of like just the right thing happening, you know what I mean, in fighting. And this almost seems too good to not happen for Dustin Poirier, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. You think like everything's been leading up to this for Dustin Poirier?
It really has, man. And you hear Dustin even talk about it, and he's quoting Teddy Atlas about it, but it's like you look at these guys and their trajectories in their lives and where they've ended up and all the money that they've made and the scandals on one side and the just pure honor and respect on the other side, and it's like 25 minutes to make life fair. You know what I mean?
Scandals on one side, and the other side you have the charitable work. It's yin and yang, man.
Yeah, he really is, man. And like Dustin says, man, 25 minutes to make life fair. And it's like all that stuff disappears once you get in there. You know what I mean? All that other stuff goes away. It doesn't matter. It's just one person versus another person. And like, dude, I cannot wait for this. I cannot wait for this.
I'm super excited. Now, Vegas has Connor McGregor minus 283. Best odds I can find for Mr. Dustin Poirier in Sportsbook, plus 270. So if you're thinking about a dog, that's not a bad bet then.
Not a bad bet, dude. Dustin, I mean, talk about a dog, man.
Has my bookie started taking your money?
Nope.
They still won't take your money?
No. Can't make any
Jerks.
deposits.
All of them.
They don't want. They realize that I'm picking all these fights all of a sudden, and they're like, we can't have this guy taking all our money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, go back and watch our track record on our picks.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, again, this fight highly anticipated. What happens after this fight? So let's say Conor McGregor wins,
Yeah.
like your boy predicted.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for Conor McGregor?
Not Khabib. Not Khabib. I think he ends up fighting because they haven't said anything about Gaethje, right?
Not yet.
I would imagine he fights Gaethje.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if Conor wins and Khabib doesn't come back, which is what I'm guessing would happen in that case. I think they would make Gaethje versus Conor for the belt.
I think that's another favorable fight for Conor.
100%.
Now, let's say that
If you can even knock out, I don't know, if you cannot put Gaethje out, Gaethje will put you out.
yeah, he's
You know
a
what I
straight
mean?
mummy, man. Like we
And
think about
can
the
you
Korean
keep-
zombie, where how he just continues coming forward when he's eating shots.
Yeah.
Fuck. And this is another person coming in from another organization, a champion. When he fought, was it Michael Johnson
In his debut.
in his debut? Gets absolutely rocked, and just comes back and gets one of the craziest victories that we've seen, that we
Yeah.
had seen in a while. But Dustin Poirier, let's say Dustin Poirier wins like you've predicted. What's next for Dustin Poirier?
It could also be the same thing. It could be Gaethje.
A rematch against Gaethje?
Yeah. Well,
Where does Dubronx fall in this mix?
I don't know, man. It seems like he's sitting and waiting. You saw the BT Sports unofficial lightweight tournament
No.
that they all signed off on the press conference this morning. It's Conor versus Dustin, DeBronx versus Tony Ferguson, which obviously DeBronx moved forward. So the winner of this in their tournament would fight DeBronx, right? Then on the flip side, they are saying that they're very close to finalizing a Nate Diaz fight at lightweight. They said it's not Oliveira. It's clearly not Conor or Dustin. It's not
Might be
Hooker or
Justin
Chandler. It might be Justin Gaethje. So what they have in their tournament on the flip side is Gaethje versus Diaz, and then the second one is Hooker versus Chandler. Very interesting. It's a great tournament. I don't think the UFC ends up following through with that because I don't think DeBronx gets the winner of Dustin versus Conor. I mean, they might. I just don't know if they're gonna make DeBronx's next fight a title fight. I think he deserves it, but
Now, I think that's a dangerous matchup for Conor.
DeBronx,
Yeah.
I think Conor knocks him out in the first.
You think so?
I don't think DeBronx can get close enough. I think Conor's distance management is way too good.
Yeah, you
But
might be
if
right.
if he can get close, it's over. But I don't think he gets close.
Dude, I love that wide classic karate stance that Conor uses. You know, where
Dude,
he
his
uses the right to
distance
gauge
control
that
is-
distance.
He does another thing where, because he's southpaw, he'll plant his lead leg, his right leg, and throw that left. And the way he plants his leg, and he scoots his hips backwards, and then leans over his leg and throws the left, and throws it like maybe 6 or 7 inches away from your face. But the way he plants and throws his hips back, it looks like he's at the very edge of his punch. And then he does that over and over again, and you think that's where his range is. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't pull his hips back, and he just throws that left hand straight through. And you're like, he's out of range. Oh, fuck. And you're just getting hit. So, dude, his distance management is second to none. It really is.
Now, I don't know
Izzy,
if you remember,
Conor.
and can't leave out Wonder Boy.
Oh, yeah, distance management. Wonder
Yeah,
Boy,
with
really
distance
good.
management. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when we interviewed Coach Derwin Lamb, where we asked some of the strikers that he likes watching, and Conor McGregor is one of the ones that he says he's always been really impressed.
Yeah.
He considers him to be one of the best strikers in the UFC. So, again, excited for this fight. Can't wait. We're just a couple sleeps away, and we'll be there. Do you have anything else?
Just a couple shout outs. Shout out Andrew Toasty, installer out of the Gilroy store. I told him about our podcast today about the Lieben interview, sent it to him, subscribed, said it was awesome to see, just gave a bunch of praise about it. It was really cool. And then said he was plugging it super hard to all his friends right now to get extra subs for us. So yeah, shout out Andrew.
Shout out Andrew. Thank you.
Also, shout out Fedor Emelianenko in the hospital for COVID right now.
Oh, I thought he subscribed.
I wish. But, yeah, in the hospital for COVID right now in Russia. So
Ooh.
hopefully it ends up better than Khabib's dad.
You got this, Fedor, for sure.
Yeah, if anybody could, come on. It's Fedor.
Yeah, it's Fedor.
They're about to, Fedor's about to beat it, and they're about to use his blood as a vaccine.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, we have Ivan
Fyodor.
Sanchez, who started following us on Instagram. Props to Ivan Sanchez.
Ivan, the homie right there.
Jake Medlin started following us on
Vatos
Instagram.
Locos.
Goes by Make
The Jizza.
Jedlin.
The Jizza.
And Arya Man. What nickname do you have for Arya Man? Yeah, we don't have one. So
New subscriber.
new subscriber.
But thank you.
No, but I appreciate the subscriptions. Appreciate all the love. Goes a long way for us. Comment, subscribe. Seriously, can't thank everybody enough. Got the new shirts in, Will. So we'll debut the new shirts, I think, on the next video that we're making. Where we're also going to hold the contest to see if we can give some of these shirts away to some of our listeners. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, shout out Adam Haracha, the homeboy, the man-child from back in the day. He's a welder, so he's up early welding. And when I first sent him like the episode of the first podcast, he asked if we were on Spotify so that he could listen to it because he can't really watch it while he's at work.
Makes sense.
So double shout out Adam Haracha, the man-child, and Rich the producer, Rich the casual, for getting us on those audio podcasts
Rich
so that we
the
can
Casual.
distribute to those people who can't watch on YouTube.
Coming through,
Good
Rich
stuff.
the Casual. Thank
All
you,
good
sir.
stuff.
All good stuff. We're just waiting to get him to watch some more fights.
It's in my
he
YouTube
took the
feed
first
now.
step.
Like they're starting to get recommended.
Yeah.
So if I don't
Yeah.
clean those up, then maybe I'll start watching some.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got. That's all you got, Will?
That's all I got.
All right. Thanks for listening to Story of the Fight, everybody.